It's perfect. It's the most beautiful hell ever. This thing is completely stuck. This shit. We should leave the wreckage. We should leave the wreckage of this ship as a warning to other ships. None shall trespass in Pirate Cove. What is going on again, Nerd Paraders? Thank you guys so much for coming back to hang out with us today. We're playing some more Atlas, and we're working on our Pirate Cove defenses, protecting our ships from any type of assault, because that is where we're going to be weakest, where we or any other pirate are going to be the absolute weakest. So if you remember back a couple of episodes ago, we were testing out some things in this cove because it is a very, very good spot for natural defenses. It's difficult for ships to sail in here, so we've been storing our ships inside. What we did do was a kind of a pathetic attempt at defending it, and we tested it out and we realized, hey, this was a huge mistake. It's not very effective in protecting our ships. So we put our heads together in the crew and came up with something very interesting that I'd like to show off to you guys today, and we're also going to test it. We've done a little bit of testing. It works way better than the previous version, so I'm excited to show it off to you guys today. Welcome to the channel. I am Nick. This is Nerd Parade, guys. Thank you so much for coming to hang. And we're going to talk about these defenses and how you can employ them yourselves to protect your shipyard. That is the weakest point of any pirate base, is your shipyard. Now, it's very clear that the devs in Atlas don't necessarily want base raiding to really be a thing. However, pirate ships are prime targets. They are relatively easy to sink, relatively easy to build, and that's where they want most of the PvP to happen. So we're trying to do the best we can to protect ours. I'm going to stop dancing like a maniac here, and we're going to talk about what we have. Now, what we did, and I'm going to show off the map first in case you might have missed the previous episode. What we have here, boop, is our map. It's very colorful. You can see all of our claim flags placed down. Everything's ridiculous. But this is where we're storing our ships. And if you kind of can see through the green vomit of claim flags, you'll notice that the channel makes sort of like a peace sign. So it's got 3 entrances, and in the center, we're storing the majority of our ships. What we've done at every entrance now, instead of putting up clip platforms with cannons upon them, we've done something like this. It's like a blockade. So if ships are, enemy ships specifically, are sailing in to where we are, not only are they going to have to slow down, but they run the risk of hitting one of our little towers and stopping completely, all the while our towers are blasting the absolute piss out of them. So, once again, welcome to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for coming to hang. I'm very excited to show this off to you. The effectiveness of this is 10 times better than what we were doing up here with cliff platforms. Was not worth. This is impressive. Serves 2 purposes again. Forces enemies to slow down before they come into your shipyard instead of just blazing through because they have to dodge the little StarCraft-esque bunker of fire bats that's in there. And them slowing down forces them to take more damage. So it's damage, speed reduction. Beautiful. We're going to test it out, and we're going to take a couple of dummy ships and run it through here. Just base ships, no guns. We're going to show you how quickly they get destroyed, and that's how we've been doing our testing. We're going to have Crash Test Dummy Gru doing the funds for us today, but what I'm going to do is jump in the water here and show you what this is all about before I get any further. So, it's deep, a little deeper than I thought, but not deep enough to prevent us from building up to make this. It's a little resource intensive on the stone just because you have to build all the way up. But the good news is this is protected. How is this protected? What do you mean, Nick? I thought you said stacking foundations was weaker in previous episodes. I did actually say this. But it turns out cannonballs break when they hit the water. Completely ineffective. Once they touch the water, the cannonballs kind of explode. And they cannot damage structures underwater. So we're utilizing that mechanic here to create our little V. A V of destruction. It's a blockade. So we've got guys on swivels, large cannons, as well as medium cannons, just to get a little bit of extra, turn if they need it. So we're going to get that fire debuff on the ship. You don't need a lot of, before I get too deep into it, you don't need a lot of fire guys on swivels. You don't. You could have one guy on a swivel or 100 guys on a swivel all shooting fire, and it's going to be the same amount of damage because it puts a debuff on there. It puts a debuff on the ship, a dot, a damage over time. And it doesn't matter if it gets hit 100 times or one time, it's still going to be the same amount of damage ticking from fire. Functions, that was a terrible grapple. It functions very similar to like what fire would do in Arc. So this is what our setup is here. Blech. Okay, grapple skills kind of on point. Large cannons for the big damages as they're coming in. You'll notice that they're faced on either side of the... I call the StarCraft bunker. It reminds me of a bunker from StarCraft where we got Marines and Firebats inside. So that's what I'm going to continue to call it. We got the StarCraft bunker here. We've got our large cannons aiming directly to the side of it because a ship is going to have to turn to avoid it. So when it turns, it's going to take a couple of big booms right off the bat. So it's working extraordinarily well with our natural defenses. I'm really excited about it, this large cannon. And then once we get closer towards the inlet, you'll see on this side is actually easier for me to look at. You'll see that we have the medium cannon, so they could do a little bit of twisty-turny just to keep the damage, all the while we're funneling in the ships into the entrance point. And even these guys over here are just making sure that they stay a little bit lit on fire the entire way that they go. Once they make it around to this area, some of the ships that are parked, if the NPCs on them are set to aggressive or, they currently have an issue where they really like to shoot at fish in the water if left on aggressive, but if they are, we can have a couple of ship blockades take out the lucky ship that happens to maybe come in at the perfect angle, have the perfect wind, and maybe just catch this ever so right enough to make it all the way through. But enough of my rambles about this. We're really going to get into the testing. We're going to bring Crash Test Dummy Gru into the comms with us, and we're going to run some of the big ships into it. We're going to run a Brigantine, we're going to run a Galleon, and the Nerd Parade server just added a fancy new mod. We've got the India Man ship, which is kind of like an in-between ship between the Brig and the Galleon, and I'm excited to mess with it because it looks really freaking cool, and it falls in that sweet spot between Brigantine and Galleon. So we're going to run the India Man in and see how well that sucker holds up as well. I'm excited for some explosions, and I hope you guys are too. Our parody victim, Crash Test Dummy Gru, is getting ready to sail in for our first test of the Brigantine. Now, you may be wondering a couple of things. First and foremost is, hey, these guys are awfully close to the water and they shoot fire. Usually in the game of rock, paper, scissors, water beats fire. And if the waves happen to crest over the fire guys, will they still, fire and do damage? The simple answer to that question is yes. The long answer to that question is yes, they will. Anyway, Gru, I'm ready when you are, my dude. Let's see the most majestic... Oh, where it goes. Already starting. So you're trying to come right at it. You're trying to pass the StarCraft bunker already. You're not...
Yes,
you're not...
right at it.
See, that's actually even better. So you kind of know some of the defenses, and you're trying to avoid that. An unsuspecting ship might try to sail directly into the mouth of the cave. Oh, delicious fun. Well, you made it pretty close. I see you missing some planks there.
Yeah, it starts to hurt.
Well, I might get lit on fire here if I'm not careful. Skaploosh. So how bad you sinking? Oh, you sinking. The ships, or the masts never really got damaged or taken out. So there's no way you're gonna repair this in time.
The deck.
Okay. There's no way you're gonna repair that in time, but it's just gonna keep ghost riding into the center, and then we're gonna have some nice wreckage to loot. Comfortably from the safety of our own, little inner sanctum of ships. I'd say that was a pretty damn successful test number 1. So Brig is not going to penetrate. Up next is... Oh, Do you want to do the Galleon next and then save the fancy modded India Man for last?
We can do that.
I like that idea. All right, test number 2 is about ready to go through, and Gru is on the Galleon. Now, he's going to go through the same path, which is insider knowledge, essentially. He's going to go through the same path, knowing that the Starcrafty bunker is there, and trying to bust through the center here as quickly as possible. Now, I mentioned that you might have a couple of questions. First and foremost was the fire. The second question that you might have is, hey, why aren't your cannons firing bar shot and trying to take out the sails? We attempted it. We attempted bar shot on the NPCs with the cannons, the medium cannons, so that they could maybe take them down. The aim is ass with bar shot. It doesn't seem to work very well. We would probably have to use bar shot in player-manned cannons, but we'll talk about that in a second as this guy just tries to sail through. So you're just gunning it.
I'm doing what I can, trying to get it through.
Oh, it's gonna hit. Oh, it hit. Oh, it hit. That Galleon got stuck. There is no way. Oh, did you die?
I'm still alive, but my crew's going down.
Yeah, that Galleon is stuck on... Oh, I fell off. Shit. That Galleon is just stuck. It's not coming through.
I'm completely unable to move, and my crew's dead from the sails.
So it's Galleon proof that we have determined? Is it... It's still possible for us, as owners of this shipwreck cove, to maneuver a Galleon through. But unless you hit it perfectly, and unless you go really slow, you are not going to have a good time. Enemy Galleons, they're just not going to make it through at all.
Yeah, I actually know where stuff is.
Yeah, you know where stuff is, and you still had difficulty trying to get that guy in fast. It's just hell. Oh my god, it's hell. It's perfect. It's the most beautiful hell ever. This thing is completely stuck. This shit. We should leave the wreckage. We should leave the wreckage of this ship as a warning to other ships. None shall trespass in Pirate Cove. None shall trespass through Pirate Cove. I have to wait until this thing is beautifully destroyed. But anyway, I'm sorry. We were talking about the bar shot taking out the sails. Now, utilizing bar shot, we could theoretically take out the sails on smaller ships. Nice. We could theoretically take out the sails on smaller ships and create a situation like we just did with the Galleon, stopping it in the choke point where it is most vulnerable, where all the hell is just raining loose upon it. We tried. We tried bar shot with NPCs, and their aim is ass. They don't seem to really prioritize targeting the sails at the current state of the game, just in case I need to future-proof this video, but they don't seem to prioritize targeting the sails to stop them or take them down. We could put player-mounted cannons up here for bar shot, but it's not a guarantee. If a ship is sailing in, and we can't get a character on that cannon fast enough to take out the sails, then we don't want our defenses to only rely on such a thing. We wanted something that could do the job without necessarily needing players to man, and also minimizing our total crew impact. Believe it or not, these little wedges use about a quarter of the crew that we were using on the cliff platforms to man all of the entrances. That means more crew for more of our ships. I don't know if you could sail through this with the India Man. I see you moving it. But we may actually have to scuttle this. Because this thing is blocking the entrance. Hilariously, it is blocking the entrance. So, you know what, for the sake of science, it does look beautiful to have it as a ship graveyard. But we may have to scuttle this puppy just to finish our testing. All right, our last test is going to be the India Man. Now, this is a modded ship, and it's not available on your average official server. But this ship was so cool that we wanted to add it here to the Nerd Parade server. We do have the skeleton of the Galleon still remaining, although all the planks have been removed. It should just be like kind of a graphical thing. the Indiaman should still be able to sail right through it. But if not, we'll repeat the test, I guess. Now, this guy is slender. The Indiaman is tall and narrow, but it packs a lot of punch with guns. And this one's pretty fast. Yeah, you're going right through the skeleton, too. And you might... Oh, same thing. It's just big enough to where you tap the edge and it stops you. And you just get annihilated. Oh, beautiful.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, did you anchor?
I jumped off the ship because I was burning.
Oh, you were burning! So, wait, maybe it sits up high enough with the captain's wheel? This is the pantomime for captain's wheel, by the way. That you actually will get killed off of the captain wheel unless completely protected before you can even manage to wiggle the ship through. That's it. That's an interesting perk. Now, you can protect yourself on the captain's wheel, but by protecting yourself and building around yourself, you force the first-person view mechanic. So a lot of people will leave themselves open so they can third-person drive their ship. If you build yourself enclosed or protected, it forces you into first-person view when driving a ship, and a lot of people don't prefer that. I would consider that pro-ship driving mode. If Gru was protected, he might not have gotten lit on fire by the Greek fire swivel cannons, and may have been able to ping pong or wiggle himself through the wedge. But the fact that the Indiaman ship is also the same as the Galleon, completely locked down because they cannot hit the perfect angle to get through here. The only thing that was able to swivel through with the insider knowledge, because Gru knew which way to sail to get around our Starcrafty bunker, was the brig or smaller. But a sloop or a schooner is going to get frickin' annihilated before it can do anything. That brig was ghost riding up until that point. Like, it was annihilated by the time it got through the entrance, and it ghost rode up there completely just sinking. That would be the only ship that I would consider trying to do a player-manned bar shot. But again, forcing a player to try to get here quickly, or maybe even put like a bed or something down and death spawn just to fire some bar shot, it doesn't seem profitable to me. It doesn't seem lucrative. So what I think we've built here is quite possibly the perfect Cove defense system. It will live up to its name, Shipwreck Cove. I want to leave these wreckages here as a warning to all those that come and try to mess with us. But our defenses right now are pretty on point. What do you think, Gru? Is there anything that you would currently change to this to try to make it better?
Not as it stands right now.
I am with you. As it stands right now, I don't think there is anything else we can do to make this even better than it already is. Our ships are safe. Well, Nerd Paraders, that is going to wrap up our testing. I hope these methods and these designs were helpful to you in protecting your own pirate ships to make sure that they can survive from enemies trying to sink them. Make sure to keep your ships well protected. But if this video was helpful, like I said, smash the thumbs up button for me. Let me know that you like this stuff that way. If you haven't done so yet, now's the perfect time to drop a subscribe on the page as well for some more cool videos just like this one. Or don't subscribe. Who the fuck cares? What do I know? But most importantly of all, Nerd Paraders, I want you to break it down. Have yourself a fantastic day. Take care of yourselves. Stay awesome. And we'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.